Hey guys, this is a video that I forgot to upload a couple of months back, but anyway, we'll get straight to it. So this is an iPhone 6 Plus that I picked up, from dumpster diving. So it's in pretty poor condition, and people just chucking iPhones away is just pretty bad, and not recycling them. So anyway, I picked this up, and when I took it home, I plugged it in, and the phone is actually charging, and it actually worked. But obviously, this with a screen crack, of course. So what we're gonna do is make a quick screen replacement, and hopefully the phone isn't iCloud locked. Okay, so first off, we're going to start off by powering the phone off, which I managed just about with the terrible LCD. What we're going to do now is going to get our toolbox. This one I picked up is called Armeg, and I got it locally, which cost me about 10 quid. And which is pretty good, and it's got all the basic utilities that you actually need. So all the screws that you find in basic electronics, ranging from Phillips to hex screws and flatheads. Unfortunately, with Apple, they have their proprietary screws, which in this case it's a pentalobe screw, and there's two of them. So what we're gonna do is get a pentalobe screwdriver that you get from the screen replacement products you get from eBay. The problem is that these screws are so terrible. Without the right pentalobe screwdriver, it making the screws dull, and the problem with that is that if you ever need a future repair, those are pretty much impossible to pull out. And the worst is that the screwdrivers they give you with the screen replacement are pretty terrible too, and is really cheap. So I would try and invest in something like an iFixit toolkit, rather than rely on the ones that you get with the screen replacement. Okay, now once you get your suction cup, and now start pulling gently backwards, and then get your pick ready and trying to dig in and open up the screen. But be careful that you don't damage any internals, so just go gentle. Okay, now lift up the screen, and you should lie the screen with an object, so for example like a cup, or lean it against something that could hold the screen up. So you could use both of your hands instead of having one hand holding the screen up while the other hand focuses on the screws. On the iPhone 6 Plus, you have 5 screws that you need to unscrew on the top. Unscrewing those will allow us to access the ribbon cables connecting the board and the LCD together. But with all electronics, safety comes first, and we need to unscrew these 2 screws, lifting up the shield to the battery cable, just in case the device short circuits. So recently I've been pretty active on my channel, and I never usually do post more than 2 videos per month, but I suppose that I might as well chuck something out. And turns out last week I've managed to hit 100 subs, and I'm very proud of that. I wouldn't think I would actually get there. So hearing that with YouTube that you need 1,000 subscribers to monetize your videos, and you need 4,000 hours of watch time per year, I mean, that's pretty ridiculous for some of these new YouTubers trying to start off with their channels. But I guess it is trying to prevent bots and alternate accounts from getting monetization. But I'm not YouTube, so I don't really understand why they're putting the goal so high, but money's money, and business is business. Anyway, so back to the LCD. What we're going to do is unplug the ribbon cables. Now try and be gentle, as these ribbon cables are pretty fragile, so use something like a pick, or use, like, if you have long nails, you could use that as well. Once all the ribbons have been lifted, you should be able to detach the screen off pretty easily. And now we are going to transfer the old home button, which has Touch ID, to the new screen, because with Apple, all the home buttons are linked to each unique logic board from birth. Now unscrewing this shield will lead you to the home button, and from here be very careful, since the home button ribbon cable is very fragile and can easily tear if it's not handled correctly. So now let's keep this home button in a safe place. So what you want to do now is go and get your new LCD screen. Obviously handle it with care, otherwise you might have to buy a new one. The one I bought came with a replacement home button, which is nice for them, in case for some iPhones missing them, or broken Touch ID as a replacement. Now this won't replace Touch ID because, like I said before, each home button is paired to the logic board, and only Apple can do that. Since we have an original Touch ID home button, we're going to remove the fake one and replace it with the original one. So like what we have done before, we are going to remove the screws, the shield, and the fake home button, and replace it with our one. The process is pretty easy, so just slide it in like that, and then reconnect the ribbon cable to the LCD. Now we are going to get our shield and place it on top. Make sure it's aligned the correct way. We are now going to insert the screws back on, and replacing the home button is simple as that. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, if I actually known this and actually tried to attempt it instead of throwing all my old screens out with the home button, I could have sold these iPhones for a lot more money. But that was before, and they say you learn from your mistakes, so lesson learned. Now, after putting all the screws back together for the home button, we are going to test it out if it actually works and it actually clicks, and if it does click, you're good to go. From here we are going to reinsert the ribbon cables to the correct place, click them back together just like Legos, and reinsert the shield and rescrew it back together. If you have been following me on my Instagram or Twitter this year, you see that I post pretty frequently on those platforms, mainly Instagram. If you want to check out what I'm up to these days, you can follow me in the description below. I mainly post things that are tech related, and some of them may be in future videos, but who knows, if you want to see a product in my post be featured in future videos, just comment on the post and I'm happy to do so. Or maybe I should make a poll on Twitter or something. You will also see posts of me playing the piano or making music. It's something that I do enjoy, and I don't mind doing some videos on that too. Obviously everything has been tech related recently, but I have been planning on another piece I'll upload soon. But other than that, my current projects are working with another YouTuber called Mac My Life Up. If you've seen his recent video, which was about patches, we decided to cover the topic and make a basic guide and explanation about them. Part 2 will be on my channel, and we'll be talking about from Sierra to Mountain Lion, so stay tuned for that video. Anyway, after screwing all the correct screws back into their place for the top shield, we're going to move back down and reconnect the battery connector and screw in the bracket shield so the cable doesn't get damaged. Clipping the battery together is pretty easy. Make sure your screws are all in the correct place and just screw them back together. Now from here we're going to lower the screen just a bit. Well, we're not going to clip it back together just yet, so we are going to test it first. So what we're going to do is hold the power button, hoping that it will power on. If it does power on, that's a good sign. Now we're going to test if the LCD is any good when it comes to touch. So I'm going to click on the emergency button and just going to test it out from the keypad here. Seeing that the display is okay and there are no issues, I'm going to reseal the phone back to normal. Okay, to reseal the phone, first you are going to align it from the top and then align it from the bottom, and then slowly make your way inwards so that they can clip together and it'll snap back to normal, just like so. After that, make sure you get your pentalobe screws ready and put them back where they came from and rescrew them to seal the iPhone shut. I'm still not a fan of these screws though. As expected, Apple doesn't want people going inside their phones, which is pretty hilarious since I'm pretty sure once a consumer buys a phone, product is theirs and they are free to do whatever they want to do with it. But still, up until now, even with their recent phones, Apple has still made right to repair pretty difficult. Now the phone has its screen restored, it turns out the phone has a password. Knowing that this has been found in the trash, the probability of this iPhone having an iCloud lock is 50-50. And getting in contact with the owner is going to be pretty difficult. But luckily for me, I can find the serial number on the back of the housing, hoping that the housing is original as well. Looking at it now, the iPhone is in pretty good condition, the screen is immaculate, the home button works, and touch works as well, and everything else is fully functional, besides the passcode lock. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you liked what you saw, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!